There's a lot of players stuck in 8 to 10k premier points that should be in 13 to 15k. You can blame your teammates as much as you want, but if you feel like one of these players, you're probably making some of these 7 mistakes that keep you from reaching the higher ranks you deserve. First off, taking 50-50s too often. 50-50s are when you enter a gunfight with an enemy where neither of you have an advantage. For example, swinging a corner when you don't know exactly where the enemy is. If you're an above average player, chances are that you can win a lot of these 50-50 duels in lower ranks because you have good aim. But when you're in higher ranked lobbies, players are going to have that same good aim, making the fight actually a 50-50 chance to win or lose. You should be creating opportunities for you and your teammates to take gunfights where you have the advantage. A good example is pop flashes. If you or a teammate can peek with a flash, you've created an advantage. Molotovs can force enemies to take routes that aren't ideal, or even force them to run into your crosshair unknowingly. Without utility, getting a good flank or a camping spot is another way to get you and your team an advantage for fights. Since after your first kill, enemies are now worried about the new angle that they may not be prepared for, and you guys can take advantage of that. Number 2, not doubling up properly. Doubling up can be an effective way to clear multiple angles, secure trades, and even move an enemy's crosshair. I feel like a lot of Joes understand this, but some players tend to walk behind their teammate, which can easily get you both killed since you can't shoot back without hitting your teammate and you're taking damage from their fight. Some players will also double up by being too far, which could lead to your teammate dying without you being able to trade them. You should double up by peeking the same angle from 2 different positions. For example, on Dust 2 Catwalk, you could double up by walking on the railing while your teammate is on the ground. You both might take damage, but you can now shoot back and clear more than one spot while also making the enemy have to work harder to secure even one kill. If you want to double up on the same elevation, just have the guy in front crouch, or if you're looking opposite ways, make sure one player is slightly in front of the other player. Number 3, playing too hard. When you get put into a lobby where you're the lowest ranked by far, it can sometimes mess with your head even when you don't realize it. And sometimes you start getting killed instantly off peaks, which can make you think that you need to play faster to compensate. But when you try to play faster, you aren't giving yourself time to think, and that leads to more mistakes and more lost rounds for you and your team. When you start to feel like this, remember that you got put into this lobby because the game thinks that you can handle being in that lobby, and you shouldn't have to change how fast you're making decisions, but rather change the decisions themselves. If you keep dying so fast, it's probably because you're too predictable. So if you're holding cave on ancient and you keep getting one tapped, use utility instead to control the choke point, and let your 2 teammates in middle defend this area instead. That's just an example, but you could think of many different ways to keep yourself from being predictable. Number 4, map knowledge. You can improve your aim as much as you want, but the game is played on maps, and if you don't know as much about the maps as better players, you're going to get put into Premier at a disadvantage. Learning nade lineups are crucial, even if you just learn a few, so that you can help out your team here and there. You can learn your own lineups by taking a few minutes on a practice server with the grenade camera enabled and trying to find a memorable spot to throw grenades where you want them. You can also follow a guide on YouTube, but if you watch the whole thing and you don't go into practice them, you're just going to forget them by the time you actually hop on. A good way to gain map knowledge is simply by watching others, whether that's spectating your teammates or looking at streamers/pro player games. You'll see everyone else's approach to the map, and you can take what you do and don't like from everyone's game and reshape your own playbook. Another good way to get map knowledge is by reviewing your own games, both wins and losses. There's a lot you can learn about yourself by looking at your own gameplay, since during the game, you're too focused on the game to critique everything you're doing. If you are critiquing everything you're doing while you're playing, you're probably ruining your reaction time, and you need to focus on your performance later. When you watch your own games, you can look at every kill and death, then study what was good about that play and what wasn't. And you can remember that for next time when you're in that situation. Speaking of reviewing games, I wanted to start making some videos where I go over you guys' gameplay and help you improve on your game. 1 to 20k, no matter the skill level, you can join my Discord server to send me demo links to review. You can also play custom matches with me from time to time, and maybe even win something if we can organize that. I'll put the link in the description, and if you enjoy this type of content and community, please subscribe, because that helps me out a fuck ton. Number 5, mental battles. Getting tilted is only going to make your gameplay suffer. Having a positive mindset will make sure that you're not making huge mistakes, like rotating too early, or missing easy kills that you would have gotten otherwise. Shit talking is an easy way to get tilted if you let it get to you. And you're going to come across a lot of toxic players in higher levels because the better a player gets, the more shit they talk. A good way to battle shit talking is by ignoring it completely and talking your own shit after. But that isn't as easy for some people as it is for others. If you get even a little bit frustrated from shit talking, whether you like to admit it or not, a good way to combat it is by muting the other team and even toxic teammates and allow yourself to refocus on the game. You can think about your next play or ask a teammate something just to talk. Anything that takes your mind off of the losses for a bit. Number 6, utility is powerful. In higher ranks, you're going to run into a lot more players who know crazy utility lineups, and that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to learn a bunch of utility lineups, but you should know at least some, like I already said. And you should know how to not panic and make appropriate counter strategies. If you see them using a lot of utility when you push a site, next round you can throw limited utility and send 1 to 2 players to make noise and maybe even get a kill. Just do enough to have the enemy use up all their utility, then you can back up and then use that utility advantage you got to slowly gain control of the map or execute one of the sites. Also, if you have a teammate who knows how to use utility, do everything you can to drop them utility so that they can help you guys win. Even swapping utility with a teammate who has better positioning to throw it can make utility more effective. Lastly, being too afraid and being too confident. Both of these can lead to you making the mistakes that I've already mentioned. You can't be afraid to push with your teammates just because you're down on rounds, and you can't let your confidence put you into unwinnable fights. You need to stay level-headed and cool. Detaching from your emotion and just having fun with the game will bring you into a flow state, which brings in the necessary confidence that will help you win more gunfights. If you're starting to lose confidence, refocus on helping your teammates or ask a teammate to help you. You can have them switch positions with you or come with you. If you notice that your teammate is playing scared, don't berate them. Give them something to gain the confidence back. You can ask them what they want to do for a play, what they know about their side of the map, or check if they need to switch positions. You need to help that teammate focus on the game and get some easy frags so that they can be confident again. I'm only saying confidence a lot because it's really important, especially when you're making that switch into the harder lobbies. If you can't break into the higher lobbies and you swear at your teammates, you need to stop solo queuing, as it's the simplest way to guarantee good teammates. If you aren't going to stack with teammates, don't forget that you have a microphone, since information is everything in CS, and withholding that information from your teammates is really fucked up. Don't forget to send me your demos on Discord, link in the description. I don't care if you're 1 or 20k, everyone has something they can fix, and I'll tell you exactly what it is. I already asked you to subscribe, so thank you and goodbye.
This looks like Florida, Carolina.
Oh yeah,
This
you're
looks
right.